I granted I had it maybe easier, but I made it so when people that could afford to buy artwork even thought about it, they would think about my name first. And there's many relationships that I got involved with, like the Inn at Little Washington that I was mentioning, or other businesses that I've been involved with, where they could tell 100% that when they approached me that I was a follow-through communication guy who also could paint. I have met, as we all have, many very talented artists that for some reason can't make a living. And that's because they've just steered away from the business side of things. And unfortunately, it just doesn't work that way. So
right.
I guess I would come back and I'm always going, business, just understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense. And I think that's absolutely profound what you mentioned, that you spend most of your time with people who buy art, not create art, because you've already got a built-in demographic of people who are interested in your art. If they know you, so they're, trusting of you and they like your art, then why wouldn't they also buy some of it? I think that's absolutely fantastic. So with everything that you have done and experienced over the years, what would you say has been the best advice that you have ever received?
Life is short. It came from my mother, who's been gone for a long time as well. So that would probably be the best advice. When young people approach me about what they're doing with their life, I always sort of tell people, listen, until you're 20 years old, your life is your parents' life. Mm-hmm. Now, I understand there may be some out there that have different situations, but largely, for most of us, we grow up and we go through school and all the rest of that. And somewhere around 20 years old to the time that you're about 35, you're trying to figure out your life. You're trying to figure out what you want to do, what makes you happy, and you're scared as hell and hardly want to admit that, but that's kind of what's going on. But let me tell you, during that period of time, it's the best time to make mistakes. You can, from a career standpoint, almost do anything and make a bunch of mistakes. But by the time you're 35, you really are entering a time in your life when you really can't make as many mistakes. So it's a good time to figure it out and take your time to do that. So by the time you hit 35, you really have yourself kind of set and know what you're doing, because you need to throw at least 20 years, 25 years towards a career to be able to retire from it, mm-hmm. or be in a position to retire from it. And so, if you're 35 and you're 45, 55, 60, there you are. You're coming up to a magic number.
Yeah.
Second advice, everybody has heard this advice before, but I will say it's 100% true, is choose something that you love. So when I became an artist, I really did think all the way through to my father, who passed away at 52. I thought to myself, I can do this until can't pick up a paintbrush anymore. Mm-hmm. Creativity is one of those things that if you can make a life at it, and there's lots of ways. I hear starving artist stuff all the time. Boy, you and I could have a whole show on that.
Right.
Because I'm proof that artists don't starve. But I would say those two things. Life is short, and choose something that you love to do, mm-hmm. and you'll do well by yourself. I really believe it. I think you'll do well by yourself.
Yeah. So, excellent. Oh, good. Well, again, Tom, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I really appreciate it. If the listeners would like to look at more of what you're working on or potentially buy your work, where is the best place they can go to do that?
My website is thomasneel.com, And remember, my last name is Neel. So thomasneel.com is a great way to pick up on things that I've done.
Yeah.
Of course, the book's available on Amazon, and I think that's pretty much it.
Sure. Excellent. Well, great. I will be sure to put all of those in the show notes so people can click right through. And again, I want to thank you so much for your time and your help on this one. This has absolutely been fantastic.
No, thank you very much for having me here. I really appreciate it. And good luck to all your listeners, and you too.
Great.
Merry Christmas, by the way, or Happy Holidays, as they say.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Advance Your Art podcast. If you like this episode, please go into iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. And while you're there, hit the subscribe button so that every single time I release a new episode, it will go directly to you without even thinking about it. If you're interested in hearing older episodes, please go to advanceyourart.com where you can find the catalog of everything I've done so far, as well as contact information and projects I'm working on. Thank you again, and have a great day.